Thank you.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn.
That sound like a glitch in a little bit
you're
here.
here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night.
Welcome to Mike in the Night. It is I, Mike Martins, your discussion guru. Give me a second here. Let me lower my speaker volume because I got a very special guest on the show tonight on Mike in the Night, and I've been begging him to come on and share his wealth of knowledge. And here he is, Simon, Uneducated Economist. Hold on, don't talk. There's his channel right here, Uneducated Economist. I'm going to leave a link in the chat for you guys to make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. He's at 2609 subscribers. Let's see if we get him to 3,000 subs by the end of this month or more. And he's got a very firm understanding of what is going on when it comes to treasuries, when it comes to stocks, when it comes to buybacks, when it comes to this and that, and market closures and openings and dividends and whatever. And he does it in a way where everyone could understand it. And that's what I like. He's a very hardworking guy. Let me introduce from Astoria, Oregon, where the Goonies was filmed, Simon.
Hey, thank you very much, Mike. I'm glad to be here tonight. Really happy to be here.
Oh, man, it's such a pleasure to have you on. Go ahead, buddy, talk. Okay, let me just ask you a basic question. What motivated you to start Uneducated Economist?
Wow, what motivated me to start Uneducated Economist? Well, I guess it would probably started. I guess probably my quest started back in the '07 housing crisis when I came pretty close to losing my house. I started punching into the computer, what's going on, mortgage-backed securities, credit default swaps. I didn't know any of this stuff, I would sit there and I'd watch CNBC and they would speak and I would understand the words like I knew the definitions of the words, but they would talk in such a way that it sounded like code. And I just never understood these things that would just kind of go past me. Even if I would just sit there and really try and pay attention, I just still couldn't get it. So I just went to Google and I just started punching in there. What are credit default swaps? What are mortgage-backed securities? What is the Federal Reserve? What's fractional reserve banking? And I just kept doing that. And even still today, I ask questions to myself all the time. Then I go to Google and start punching it in there and finding out. So every day I try and learn a little bit more about what's going on out there. And treasury yields. They're the thing that I've been keeping my eye on lately.
Tell us, explain to a lot of the first timers that are getting into understanding the markets. What is a treasury yield? How is it attractive? And when is a safe time to buy? Remember, guys, we are not giving any financial advice. We don't know anything. We're just talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am probably, when it comes to market timing, I am probably like the worst market timer in the world. So I don't even try and give like investing advice and stuff like that. But I do like to look at these, at some of these things and then try and explain to, at least from what I see in it. And a lot of people think that I kind of break it down and make it a little more simpler for. So what is a bond? Well, what are bonds and bond yields? A bond is real simple. A bond is a loan, right? I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. And bonds typically have a short-term duration to long-term durations, right? And a lot like, if you're buying a house, and if you're taking out a long-term rate, you're going to pay a higher interest rate. And if you take out a short-term, like 15 years, you're going to pay a shorter or a lesser of an interest rate for that. And bonds are very similar. So typically on a short term, you're going to pay a low interest rate, and on a high term, you're going to pay a higher interest rate to it. And these are what basically is the security behind loans, because they're the most guaranteed, most secure loans out there because they're backed by the U.S. government, right? So that's what the basic simple explanation of a bond is. And then, what's big talk right now is a lot about the bond yields, right? The yield curve, right? So a lot of people don't understand quite what that yield curve is, and that's where that short-term to long-term rate is, where you have like, it'll start off with the shorter term, and then it'll kind of curve into a longer term, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when that starts to flatten, it means that the short term is starting to catch up to the long-term rates as far as what they're willing to pay, and in right now, what we have is we have very small inversions happening inside of this yield curve, which would typically be short term to long term. What we end up having is we have sections inside of there that are now paying higher interest rates on the shorter term than they are on the longer term.
Yes.
And what this is doing is it's causing a fear inside of the market. So basically, when you have a 1-year treasury that's demanding a higher interest rate than a say a 5-year or 7-year treasury, what you have is you have investors who are very nervous about the market that year out. They don't want to tie their money up during that time. See, if they give that money up and buy that bond, then they're going to be tying their money up. And they're like, man, what if an asset becomes more, drops in price, and it would be a better purchase than this treasury that I got.
Right.
So if you're going to have me buy this treasury, I want a higher interest rate. And that's what causes those interest rates to go up inside of that yield curve, is because of the nervousness of investors for that period of time.
Yes. So when it basically inverts, what it shows is it shows a signal that, hey, this 3-year bond's more attractive than the 7-year. And then people start to scratch their heads and wonder, wait a minute, why am I going to tie up 10 G's in a 7-year bond that's going to pay less than the 3-month? So
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and exactly. And so what you end up having is that if you is banks end up, and I'm not like some banking guy, right? So I don't know anything about banking business. I don't know but I do know that these guys borrow short, and lend it out for long, right? So they borrow short-term rates that are less interest rates, loan it out to you for longer term at a higher interest rate. They make the money in between. Right. So if they cannot borrow this short term interest, at a rate that they can lend it out for a longer term interest, then they can't make any money in there. So what ends up happening is they don't loan the money out, and you start having a credit freeze, where all these banks get fearful because they don't want to loan money to anybody else, because they're afraid that that they won't be able to have the money on hand. So, boy, did I kind of mess that up there a little bit. They're basically, they won't be able to borrow the money at a short-term rate to lend it out for longer, so they don't want to loan it out, right? They want to hold on to those funds until they can get an interest rate that pays more.
Right. Of course. Well, it's actually more attractive, right? Okay, guys,
Right.
People just joining into the stream, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Uneducated Economist. I'm going to leave a link right now to his channel in the chat. I know we're on my backup channel, so we already got people coming in, which is really nice, and I couldn't believe how fast this channel picked up the second they flagged a 3-year-old video talking about telling people not to buy in Sydney, Australia, from 3 years ago, too, with no music, with no backup stuff, with no, I don't know how to say this, with no reason for them to delete the video. So they had to give me some sort of I don't know how to say it here. A warning, I guess, in their way of doing business when it comes to, I don't know, flexing their muscles is what it is.
Yeah, and that just kind of blows me away that they would do that. It's just, I mean, I guess it doesn't. I shouldn't be shocked by this kind of stuff, but I mean, when you're giving your opinions, and you're stating it out there for your friends to hear, and they want to hear that opinion, who are they to tell you? Who are they to stop that? And I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, tell us. So the inversion we talked about the basics of a bond. So you were also talking about the market, the movement in the markets, especially the losses we've been experiencing here, in the United States, and most of parts like the Japanese market too was taking a bit of a beating a week or two ago, and so did the Chinese markets about a month ago. They got a huge uppercut, and everything was in the red. What do you see happening in Q1 of 2019?
Well, Personally, I think that the Federal Reserve is going to continue to try and raise interest rates. I think they're going to continue to try and raise them simply to try and have some sort of ammo to combat the next recession. I think by that time it will be too little, too late. I think they have way too much on their balance sheet right now, and this raising of interest rates is probably going to do too much damage to the economy for them to hold out very long. And then they'll turn around. They'll turn around the quantitative tightening, go back into quantitative easing, and they'll fire up the printing presses again. Only problem I feel that this time is that it's not going to turn out very well for them, because I just don't feel that the world is going to buy into it again. I think they'll probably start to abandon the dollar, and we're going to end up running into probably a lot like what Peter Schiff says, in running into like an inflationary recession.
Okay, you brought up a really good discussion piece there. Dropping the dollar. I see personally. I see India. I see China, Russia, Brazil. I see a lot of countries dropping the U.S. The greenback.
Yeah.
What do you think, in your opinion?
Yeah, and that's something that actually started, quite a while ago. The BRICS nations, and in those guys, they actually set up the institutions and basically everything to take over a world currency, and they just set it up in a very small manner. And what that is a wedge, right? And once they drive that wedge, it just takes small tappings over and over again to eventually drive that wedge through. And so that's what's going on now. They don't need to do it all at once. They don't need to make it a big spectacle of things. They can just literally tap that wedge every day, just a little bit, and just continue to abandon the dollar and get other countries to abandon the dollar. These countries that have taken on these U.S. bases all over the world, those U.S. bases there are there to protect the shipping channels. Well, they don't have to be occupied by the U.S., right? They can be occupied by anybody. And those shipping channels, they can be taken over by anybody in the world. They don't have to be American protected. So, we're sitting in a situation here where we're really pissing the world off, and, that's not a good idea when, we're borrowing the money from everybody else. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no. I the abandonment of the petrodollar, the U.S. dollar, the greenback, whatever you want to call it, is not on every country's first prime directive to get done in Q1 of 2019. I think we need to hold back from jumping into war. We got China flexing its muscles to Taiwan today, and we got lots of stuff happening over there, and with this in the South China Sea. But so now Q1 banking. Do you see a runoff? Do you see in Q1 or Q2 of 2019 a runoff on the banking system where people start removing their money like they did in Cyprus 4 years ago?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to come a moment where we are going to run into a liquidity crisis where pretty much people are going to need money to pay off their debts, and they won't be able to find it anywhere. And they are going to start selling assets for any price, and they are going to try and get cash as much as they can get their hands on. And if they have to take it out of the banks, if they have to sell off all their possessions, whatever they got to do in order to get a hold of it, because there's not going to be cash flowing through the system. That's what the debt is. That's where all the money is with all this debt. And as they take this debt away, they're taking the money away from it too. So if you got cash, like literally like papering folded dollars like in your possession, you're going to be in the better position when those banks don't open up, because you're going to be the only one who has it, and cash is king at that point. Regardless of the value of it, being a fiat currency and all that. If there's an economic crisis going on, cash is always going to be the winner of it. Now, in the long run, I don't see that, being the place you want to be, but definitely, over the next, probably a couple of years, cash is going to be probably, savers for the first time are going to be benefited, now I guess that's only, of course, if the Fed does go down the path of raising those interest rates. Now, like I said, I really think that by that point the pain is going to be too much, and they're going to turn around and start easing again. But if they don't, then for the first time, people are going to actually understand what it is to put money in a bank and get a savings out of it, get a return.
Right.
That's something that Americans don't know, at all.
I always bring up ING Direct, save your money, 5.5% on your savings. back in the 90s, 5.5%. Man, on $1 million, that's $55,000 in interest. People didn't know what that was back at the time, but they took our wealth away and they artificially lowered interest rates to bail out the banks in 2007. Now, people don't. So, in human history, we've done this before. Okay, during the Roman era, when the Romans would put less gold in their gold coins, and they would still get the same size coin, but people would get less gold in their coin. So that's how they deflated their own currency and pretty much destroyed it. But a lot of people don't understand how good it was to have a savings account and a bank that would pay you to have money in their account. You know what I'm saying? And there was some banks. Bank of America was offering 7% at one point back in the 80s, 7.8% in '84. That's a lot of juice if you have $1 million. You have $1 million, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, can you imagine actually being a kid, where your parents would tell you, it's just like, hey, you put this kid, give this kid a savings account. By the time he graduates high school, you can actually have a car or do something with that money. Nowadays, you can't put your money in there. It's not going to buy you anything by the time he graduates high school. It's going to be worth less. And just like you were saying about the Romans and the coins, the nice thing about what the Romans were doing as far as governments and depleting the value of those coins is they got to spend them at face value. Right. See, everybody else out there had, the government, the people who issued the coins, they got to spend it and got full face value for it. Everybody else had to work with depleted dollars or a depleted coin at that point.
Right.
And the same thing happens today. So when the government prints up this money and spends it, they get to spend it at current face value. By the time we get it, it's depleted, and we have to work that much harder for it.
Right.
So things haven't changed much.
Well, buying power is back in the early 80s, you'd go down to Tijuana, Mexico with $100 US. Oh man, you'd be partying. You go down there with $100 US, you can't even buy beer.
Yeah, it doesn't get you anywhere really. I mean, $100 is they're like $20 bills used to be.
Yeah. Do you think, I don't know if you know this, but there was macroeconomics in Mexico 4 presidents ago in Mexico. Do you know what he did to fix that problem?
He dropped a bunch of zeros off the money?
Yes! Somebody that knows this. Yes, that's exactly what he did. And that gutted the economy for a good 5 years, but it kind of resuscitated it to a point where a can of Coke in Mexico is 10 pesos, and 10 pesos is equivalent to $1 US.
Right.
So the buying power kind of was at balance. Now it's like 18 pesos for a can of Coke.
Yeah, because I remember I went down there when I was a kid, and I remember I had like these 2,000 pesos, and I'm like, whoa, look at this note, and then I could buy like I couldn't even buy a Coca-Cola with it, I was like, it was like there was nothing, but so they dropped those zeros to try and bring the currency so you weren't dealing with such a big number anymore, but it works, I guess, psychologically, but it doesn't work ultimately in the end. It's the same currencies, same problems. They just start over again.
So what do you see coming when it comes? We talked about banks. We talked about where do you see stocks headed? I mean, do you see oil up or down? Do you see gold? Gold's been falling the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Gold's been on a downfall. Usually gold will go up when the markets start taking a crap, but gold is still, I think it's the powers to be up top are keeping gold and silver devaluized.
Yeah. There's there's huge talk about the gold and silver manipulation that's happening. I remember I've been buying silver a long time, and I remember during I think it was probably 2011 or 12 when they had the crash JP Morgan buy silver. Do you remember that? Where they were going to try and run silver up to $500 and crush JP Morgan because they supposedly had this huge short position that they wouldn't be able to cover. I don't know if you
corner the market. They wanted to corner the market. They lost their shirts.
Yeah, of course, what ended up happening, of course, is that silver ran up to about $50 an ounce, was about ready to reach its new all-time high, and they started hammering it, and more paper silver started hitting the market, and they started dropping the prices down, and it dwindled all the way from $50 all the way down to what? I think it hit somewhere around $14 an ounce a couple of years ago or so. So, yeah, this obviously is not a natural market that took place, with with this massive rise and then the unnatural fall that it took place and then stayed as low as it has. I mean, all this money got printed up and it flowed into the bonds and the stock market and it flowed into real estate, but it didn't touch precious metals. Didn't even come close to it. And the reason why? They don't loan money. They don't loan. Well, I mean, I guess somebody could buy it on margin, but they don't. Like, the average person doesn't go out and take a bunch of loans out to buy gold.
No.
If they did, then, price of gold would be hundreds of thousands of dollars an ounce.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'll give you an example. This is how much paper we have on Earth, silver certificates, and this is how much silver we have. So we can't cover the actual silver physicality if everybody calls for it at the same time. And that's where Deutsche Bank is in a lot of problems today, because a lot of people are asking, where's my gold? And Deutsche Bank is sending them away.
Yeah, and and a lot of countries ask for the gold. I mean, I don't know if you heard the story about Germany asking for their gold a few years back, and it took them 9-10 months to get the first shipment. It wasn't even all of it; it was just a piece of it.
And they weren't even allowed into the Federal Reserve to go audit it.
Yeah, to go say, hey, we don't even, you don't even have to ship it. Let's just go look at it. Let me just go put my hands on it, right? And say that it's there. They wouldn't even allow them to do that, right? So yeah, there's obviously, I mean. There's no reasons why Germany couldn't get their gold back if they truly had it, right? So what they had to do, they probably had to go off into the market to buy it, right? And then send it to Germany. And that's probably the reason it is, because I think even Germany says, well, where are the gold bars that we gave you? You gave us back different bars. You gave us back in the amount of gold that you said you would, but they didn't come back as the bars that we had given you. You melted them down and made new bars. So, where is that original?
What about the gold with tungsten steel?
Yeah, and then some of the bars that they cut open, finding tungsten steel in it. That those stories never really seem to mature too much. You hear about them and then that's it. It's gone. Is there tons of gold sitting in vaults out there that really just is full of tungsten? I mean, there's articles written about it years ago, but nobody knows. It's because they don't do the audits. It's if they audit it, they would know.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of technology they could tell, or they just don't want to talk about it or bring it up or cause mass chaos in the markets, because this will set a butterfly effect in the markets easy. You could see the manipulation of gold with tungsten steel affecting housing and affecting the price of food. That's how bad it could get. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, throughout history, for 5,000 years, gold and silver have always been money, and it's only been this short amount of time that they haven't been. And you can see the chaos that has ensued since then. Whether gold and silver actually become the money again in the future, I don't know. But I know it's a heck of a good place to store your wealth, especially a good chunk of it. When prices are down like this, there's the downside risk of buying silver and gold right now is so minute, I mean, considering that, how inflated everything else is out there and the uncertainty that's going on out there, silver's kind of sitting down there going, hey, I'm unloved, unnoticed, come on and check me out. Do you remember that guy that invented, it looked like a card like this, like a typical credit card, and inside it had little pouches of gold, and then if you wanted a 20 denomination, you punch out 2 of them and you pay them in gold, and if you wanted $50, you punch it out of the card and give them real gold. Do you remember that? That was circulating the news, and they killed it right away.
Yeah, all these great ideas that they have for bringing gold and silver back into the commerce, and being used as a viable money, they get smashed right away, and even like I ask a lot of my friends and family, if they've ever heard of being able to use money or gold and silver as money, and most of them don't even have an idea of how that would even work, and I tell them, well, look, gold money has these neat little credit cards and you can spend your gold right here with a debit card. Mm-hmm. So there's ways of being able to save your money and carry your money in gold and silver and not have to carry the physical thing. You could spend it with debit cards. I mean, people are facilitating these trades now. So,
How does it make you feel that Russia and China and Brazil, a couple of countries out there, Portugal, have Iran, Libya had one of the biggest gold reserves in the world till it was destabilized. Like, how does it make you feel that economic wise that it's not on your shores and they're so secretive about it? But when they talk to the Russians to see their gold reserves, oh, come on in, bring your cameras, take a look at this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They check the Portuguese gold reserves because the Portuguese found a ton of gold in Brazil. And I mean, they have huge reserves on the Lisbon, and you see these tons and tons of gold under Portugal, and you see it. But then when you look at countries like the U.S., Italy, what was it? Japan, other countries, they don't want you seeing their reserves.
Right.
What's the big secret when other countries are like, come on, bring your cameras, I gotta show this to the world? What is the big secret? Do they have it or do they not? Because it's pretty obvious they don't when they don't want no one to see it. What's it going to do? Disappear if you look at it?
Yeah, and it's funny, even if they, even with the amount that they do have, I mean, that they admit to, it would run the country for 2 or 3 months or something like that. It's like the amount of gold that they even admit to having is really insignificant to the amount of paper dollars that they have printed out. But, what is the big secret? I really don't know. You see Russia really bragging about the amount of precious metals they have, but China, they're pretty secretive. They say how much they have, but, there's plenty of people out there who have talked about how China is just not admitting to how much they have actually accumulated. And they are net importers of gold and not exporting any. So being the world's largest, gold producer, I think China is being pretty secretive themselves on how much they have. And I think they're doing it for eventually probably world dominating reasons, I mean, if the one who has all the gold is, pretty much the king, especially during the fiat money crash, right?
What do you know about the pearl necklace around India, Malaysia, the bases that China has been building, lending them loans, these countries, and then countries unable to pay back the loans, and then China takes over their ports?
Yeah.
What do you think of that? What do you know of that?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, short of like what you just said, that's pretty much what I've heard. But this kind of goes back for a long ways, because really I was reading articles 10 years ago about how China was building roads and infrastructures and warehouses and mills and different things all over the globe. And it's kind of the same thing. If these people can't pay them back, then guess who owns the roads, the mills, and the warehouses? So this is something that China has been doing pretty heavily at least from what I can tell, for the last 10 years.
Okay, I got a question from California here, from Low Roller Scratcher. Mike, can you ask Simon, does he invest in Bitcoin?
Yes, I do. I invest in Bitcoin, very, very small amounts. And what I mean by that is that I do a couple of side hustles, and I take a little piece of that side hustle and I participate in the cryptocurrency game. And the reason why I do that is because the more you do that, the more knowledge you are going to gain from the cryptocurrency, sphere out there. You don't put your money towards something and just kind of ignore it. You put your money towards something and you pay attention to it. So that's why I buy cryptos. I buy cryptos, I buy gold. I buy very small amounts of like stock stuff. I buy some mining share kind of things that I kind of know, but I don't participate a whole lot in the stock market itself. I'm more of precious metals, Bitcoin, and then really I'm trying to get out of debt. So I got some debt left over from a few years of making bad decisions. And, so that makes it pretty easy for me. I can just, my extra money goes to paying off that debt as soon as I can, which I should be done here pretty soon. So
good for you. I got a question here that was sent to me on Skype from Kathy. Says, hi, Simon, I just subscribed to your channel. What are trends that will affect investors, particularly in America, in 2019?
Trends that are going to affect Americans. I think it's probably the one that everybody's talking about. I think it's this IT. I think this, the Internet of Things, the automation of just about everything out there. This is going to be the major trend. Everything is going to go on blockchain. It's already starting to. It's not just cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is a fascinating technology, and it is, whether you believe it or not, it's taking place out there. It's starting to take over the paper trails that companies used to use. Everything's going on blockchain now, and so once the Internet of Things and once the automation starts kicking in and it gets onto the blockchain, our lives are going to be looking a whole lot different than what they do now. It's easy to let your mind kind of wander into fascination on some of these things, But it's. I mean, I'm to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the day that I can jump in a car and they'll take me to work, if I even have work. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so I have another question here from Jose from Texas, Dallas, Texas, to be exact. Is the stock market signals? Would it show whether Trump will stay or go?
To be honest with you, if markets are in horrible turmoil, they're going to blame Trump for that, and he probably will miss out on the next election. That's just unfortunate. I don't blame Trump for anything. I don't blame Obama for anything. I don't blame presidential candidates. They do steer directions, but I try not to focus blame on anything. I try and look at things the way they are, as opposed to the way, they should be, because you get really frustrated trying to create this world that should be, as opposed to just kind of seeing things the way they are. And unfortunately for Trump, when he took on this presidency, he really did well in that first couple of years with the stock market running, and everybody was just so happy and they had all this money and stuff. But then, of course, it's the wealth effect. So as the markets start to fade away, and these people are upset that they didn't cash out, they're gonna blame Trump, and they're gonna say, hey, this is your fault, and we're gonna look for somebody else. And unfortunately, it usually swings. You have a pendulum, so it swings. And then Trump was really extreme to one side, so it's gonna swing to the other. And who knows what it's gonna end up landing at. I kind of see a Bernie Sanders kind of style, something like that affecting the United States here.
Okay, we got a question from Cindy from Melbourne, Australia. Do you see sales or sell-offs on Apple stock? I just purchased a whack load of Apple stock Friday. Do you see a sell-off, or do you see them buying back stocks?
Yeah. Again, I'm a terrible market timer, so I would, I mean, whatever I say, you probably should do the opposite of. But I honestly, I don't see I see, you'll probably be finding some turnaround in the markets. You'll probably find that, I have some good weeks or good months or something like that. But we're going to be on a downtrend in the markets for, I'm assuming for quite some time. Again, this is all depending on the Fed. If the Fed continues with the interest rate rising, you're going to see a downward in the market, and if they don't, then you'll see, party time at the market again. The only problem with these things is that it's hard to say, how effective these things are going to be. Like, their policy changes always take like months to really kind of kick into gear. So they'll make a decision now, and everybody says, oh, look what it did to the market. But really, that decision doesn't take effect for another couple of weeks here. It was more of just market sentiment that's moving the market. So now the Fed can really, if they want to, they can make the markets go up or down just by simply saying that they're going to raise or not raise interest rates. I mean, they got the market at the reins, really.
I got a question here from Simon, from Simon, not to, from Simon
Nice to meet
to
you,
Simon,
Simon.
from Skype here, and is from Welland, New Zealand, and he wants to ask, how did the American stock market get so bad, making it the worst in 10 years within a couple of months?
Yeah. And I think a lot of it kind of has to do, again, back to those interest rates, and if you notice, if you go and look at the Treasury yields, they started to invert November 30th. Okay, November 30th was the last day that there was no inversion going on inside of the Treasuries. Ever since then, every single day since November 30th, there has been some sort of inversion in the yield curve. Even if it was, just a minute 1 basis point inversion, it was still an inversion, and it was happening. And it's happened every single day since then. So that says a lot to me that these interest rates are what's mainly affecting the markets. They shouldn't be, but they are, right? They should be working independently from each other and having their own markets, but they don't. So people are flooding either out of bonds and into market, or they're getting out of markets and into bonds, and there seems to be this path, and it's all dependent on what the Fed is going to say today. I mean, whether or not, hey, markets look good, it looks like jobs are growing great, so we're going to continue raising interest rates. Oh man, worst day in a long time. Maybe we'll back off on raising interest rates. It's a different story every day.
Okay, Peter in the Peter from Sydney, who will be later on the show, asked, do you see the United States going back into QE anytime soon?
I do see him going back into QE, not necessarily soon. I think probably the Fed is going to wait for the pain to be more than people can bear.
He's saying 2 years. He's giving it 2 years, in about 2 years.
That would seem reasonable. I think that would be reasonable, that in 2 years that we're going to have some pretty economic stress going on. That's to the point that, they demand the Fed do something about it. The Fed is mandated too. They're mandated to deal with employment and some other issues. So, like, as long as these certain indicators aren't triggered, then they're not going to do anything, right? They're kind of forced to by their systematic rules. Now, they do have policymakers in the background who can change these policies at any time, but they keep saying it. They're data dependent, So yeah, once everything starts kicking in and starts proving, and saying here's the data for you, then they'll probably start kicking in the quantitative easing again. But they're loaded right now. They're loaded. Their balance sheet is just loaded with these bonds right now that they're trying to offload at $50 billion a month or something like that. And they want to kick that up. It's not going to be an easy task to do. And so that's where the pain is going to be felt, as they're trying to get rid of all this stuff so they can deal with the next recession.
I got a question here from Kevin Franklin from Manchester, England. Says, JP Morgan has announced several hours ago that their charts are showing a blistering stock market rebound headed in the next quarter. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I see these guys, these analysts, they come out every day and they just talk, you'll find ones that say that the market's going to be ripping and roaring and crazy. The other ones will say that it's going to crash on you. Honestly, I like I said, I'm keeping my eye on those interest rates. The Fed is, I think that's probably going to be the indicator. If this guy has some inside knowledge that he thinks that the Fed is going to, stop the selling of those bonds and maybe, try and actually do some bond purchases or something like that and start flooding the market, he might be very well right. It might be a ripping and roaring market after that. And you never know. It may not even take that much effort out of the Fed to do that, to change the market sentiment around. Is it going to work? Well, probably not. I mean, it isn't working right now, so I doubt it'll work again.
Okay, I got another question here from my man Peter from Sydney, Australia. He says, Michael Pento says that QT will finish in the middle of 2019 as... Hold on, I'm trying to open this whole... QE about 2 years. Pinto. Okay, let me start over. Michael Pento says that QT will finish in the middle of 2019 as the $50 billion monthly pain will be too much for the market to bear.
Yeah. Just kind of what I was saying there. So yeah, Michael. I mean, that guy, he's pretty smart. I like that Michael. What is Pento? How do you say his name?
Pento?
Yeah. I've listened to him quite a bit, and I really like him. And I think that he might be a little early on that forecast, in my opinion. I think that might be a little quick, but he's quite a bit smarter than I am. I think that honestly, I think the Fed is probably going to try and unload as much of those balance sheet as they can, and I think they'll probably try and carry it through 2019. Whether that actually works or not, I don't know, but that's kind of what I see. And the only reason, again, the reason why I think that is because I would think that if I was them, I would want that ammo. I would want to be able to purchase more assets and to be able to drop the interest rates again, and they can't really do that right now. So that's why I think that it's going to continue on for a little while, into the future until they can at least get close to that ability,
Okay, guys, we got the Uneducated Economist here. If you're just tuning in, we got people tuning in all the time. Uneducated Economist, he's at 2,609. Let me refresh that and see if it went up.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing.
Oh, yeah, you went up, I think, like 7 or 8 subs right now. Guys, please support the Uneducated Economist. He's going to be giving giveaways on his channel once in a while, some free shirts. I saw that shirt you got made. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool? My family got me this shirt here, the Uneducated Economist.
Yeah. Check. He's got some really good videos, guys. I like the video. I was watching the video today right here, going over some of the coins that you went and some of the paper currency that was backed by silver and that wasn't backed by silver. I was watching that today. That was really good video. Very Very intelligent, very upbeat, very to the point. You know, a lot of these people ramble on too much, and they don't. I mean, I guess they want to overshow or overstate what they want to say. You just get to the point and you tell people, so it makes absolute sense. You know what I'm saying, guys? Please support his channel, Uneducated Economist. He's at 2612. Let me just copy the link on his channel for you guys, and I'll put it into the comment section. And hopefully he'll be live streaming soon.
Yeah, that might be something I might get into here pretty soon. I really enjoyed doing this. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I need you to start doing this so then we could I could be on your show. I'm not really good. I'm a little bit better at maybe engaging in conversation and asking questions and watching where things are headed. I'm not really super educated myself. I mean, I barely have a high school education. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's me.
But I got a question here from Low Roller Scratcher. Okay, if stock market crash in worldwide, do you think people move their money into cryptocurrencies?
Yeah. I think that during a heavy economic run like that, cryptocurrencies will definitely start playing a part. And you know, a good example is I just look to where, you know, around the world where you have economic crises happening right now, Venezuela and Cyprus and all these places where you had these huge economic turmoils happening. Bitcoin immediately was taking off in these countries. They started using it, you know, because it was basically a currency that everybody could get to. You know, so yeah, if I see an economic crisis in the future, you know, or if there was one, I definitely see cryptocurrencies playing a huge part in that. You know, with that being said on it, it's hard to it's really difficult to try and wrap your head around which one is going to be a good one, because there's, you know, a lot of them out there. So, you know, I try and look at some of the projects that they're doing, you know, and if their project is kind of geared towards dealing with a currency as itself, then those ones will probably do okay during the economic crisis. You know, if it's something that's geared towards, you know, I don't know, one of the like gaming or something like that, then, you know, probably not.
My favorite is BitConnect. What's up?
I love that guy, man. That guy was so funny.
What's his name again? What's his name? Jose something?
Oh man, I wish I could. I can't remember right now. But yeah, I just loved his enthusiasm when he was up on the. He truly believed it. Good Lord.
Okay, let me Okay, I got it right here. Hold on, we're gonna put it on the channel, guys. Hold on. Let me just put this up here. Carlos Matos.
Yeah,
that's kind of, you know, that's a Portuguese last name, and it kind of scares me. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't look like a Portuguese. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there he is.
What's up? What's up? What's up? And then he talks about how he got $7,000, and it's like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you doing this all for $7 large? Jesus, he probably ruined the rest of his life. No one's gonna take him serious.
Yeah. Unfortunate. You know, I mean, that's just the case when people kind of fall into this idea of quick and easy money. And it's just, you know, I mean, yeah, some people do it, but it's obviously it's not there. You end up losing everything you own, you know, when you do something like that. You know, if I was to give any kind of warning out there for people when it comes to these cryptos, is like, you know, I mean, please have a level head about it, and, you know, buy cryptos as a knowledge thing. You know, I mean, that's what I did. I mean, it was kind of like when I would put money towards cryptocurrencies, it was because I wanted to gain my knowledge in cryptos. I wanted to learn more about them, and so that was kind of like my pay to learn. And then I get some reward. I get some cryptos that I get to play with, and, you know, I get to spend them with my buddy who does computer services for me. So I do get to spend some cryptos too every once in a while.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Any final words?
You know, man, I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for bringing me on your show, and thank you for supporting my channel. You know, thank you everybody who is subscribing to my channel. You know, I appreciate it. I never would have thought that this channel would have gotten this popular or, you know, or gone this far. So, you know, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I know you don't know this, but I'll tell you right now that I've been plugging your channel every week for the last 2 months.
I see that, man. I see you mentioning my channel on your videos, man, and it touches me every time you do that. I really appreciate it, dude.
Well, because it's worth it. You're worth it, right? And you're a hard worker, and yeah, you're a very good person. You got a good soul.
Thank you,
So
man. Thank you. And
yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I thank you for all the hard work you're putting in as well. You're dedicated to doing this, and this is grand, man. You're doing good, and I'm glad to be part of your team.
Yep. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna probably pick up a sweater like that. What does it have on your arm?
Oh, it's the manufacturer of the sweater, so I don't want to like give you any labels or anything like that.
Oh, okay, okay. So they
I don't know
actually
if you want to
advertise a
label
bit
it
on your.
or- What's that?
They advertise a bit on your thing, so they get a bit of a little bit of recognition on their end too.
Yeah, I don't know, because to be honest with you, I'm still learning a little bit about how the copyrights and stuff like that kind of work and different things. So yeah, I'm actually I'm going to call on you for some of that information too to help me out, kind of get my YouTube channel in the right way if I could.
Yeah, maybe set up a small eBay store too.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, well, Simon, thank you for so much for joining us from your busy schedule. I hope you have a great Saturday night, and man, thanks so much. And yeah, you'll see us in the comment section, and you'll see a lot of us in your comment section, and subscribing to you and supporting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to all your subscribers and everybody who subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, Simon. Peace.
Bye. Peace.
So, guys, that is Simon, Uneducated Economist. Great channel. Great channel. Lots of really good videos. Gets a lot of views on his videos. Very good positive comments. Lots of good feedback. Let me move the Astoria, Oregon from here so we could get another guest on. And we don't mix up their names. And yeah, look at the Oregon coast there. So nice. So nice to be by water. Look at that. So nice to be by water once in a while. I got the mountains, so I got rivers all around me. Rivers. So it's nice. I like the river. I like the river scene with the mountainous background too. But yeah. How's everyone doing out there? Mike in the night. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. And yeah, I want to thank a couple of I don't have it here beside me, but I want to thank a couple that dropped off a pile this thick of gift cards at my shop, like $50 and $100 gift cards that watch my channel, like this thick. I showed it on the video, like a McDonald's, Tim Hortons, what's the other one? Boston Pizza, all kinds. I want to thank, I want to thank those people for dropping that off. I was like, whoa, why? You don't have to bring me nothing. And then Fat Tony came by the shop, and he dropped me off another bottle of Grey Goose. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm not... I got like 3 bottles now of these big Grey Goose bottles. Like, I'm done. I'm done, dude. Stop bringing me bottles of Grey Goose. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody in the comments, we got Mysterious Blue Space Entity. We got The Real Kevin Thompson. We got Peter. We got Walking Journey. Walking, are you there, buddy? Can you call me on Skype? I need to know what the heck is going on down there. You had someone in the car that were really upset. That was probably one of the best live streams I have ever seen in my life from you. I'm not kidding. Walking, where are you? I need you now to call in. Where are you? Are you home? I need to know what's going on, because the guy you had on the show with you was really upset in the car, and I'd like to know if everything's okay. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to call in, I'd like to know what's going on. You're home. Okay, call me. Hurry up. Call me on Skype, or I'm going to call you. I don't care if you're not dressed. When Mike in the Night's on, you better be dressed, because I might be calling. There he is. Walking Journey. Walking a journey. Let's see if he picks up. Hopefully he picks up. Oh, yeah, he's got his Skype on.
Mike, can you see me?
Yo, buddy, what's up? Are you lying down?
Yeah, I'm lying down. I was watching your live stream, man.
Okay, dude, listen, dude. I need to ask you, okay? What happened? Let me just put your name here at the bottom. You know I don't have a secretary to do this. Anthony. And you are, I'll just put down you're in Texas. Conroe, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me get the story off of here. So, all my exes live in Texas. Okay, buddy, you're going to tell me what happened at the end of that live stream.
Shit, but kind of started all from the beginning. You missed it from the beginning.
Okay, is it uploaded on your channel right now? Can I bring it up?
I had to take it down, man. I didn't want to get a community strike, man. There was too much cursing and going back and forth, and believe me, you would have took it down too, Mike.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, because the reason why I'm asking, because that was an intense ending in that video. That was intense.
Well, originally I was gonna make the live stream about you.
Yeah, because I'm going on YouTube and then I notice Mike Martin's M4T controversy, and I'm like, okay, this video's about me. I gotta watch it, and I notice it's live, and then I notice the video is live, and then I'm like,
they're not even talking about you, right?
yeah. I tune in and the guy's like swearing, F this, F that, and F this. I'm like, is this guy swearing about me? I don't even know this guy.
Oh man, did you recognize him?
Yeah, that's the guy from the other channel.
Black Bigot.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the. I've seen his channel before.
He has exactly the same amount of subs as you. Hold on, man. I'm getting my tripod ready because my back starts hurting if I'm sitting down.
So, okay. So tell us the story.
All right. Hold on, I'm getting ready, man. I'm sorry, man, because you caught me on a short notice.
Well, that's how it works on my channel. You know that. This is a real deal.
You're the one and only, Mike. M4T. That's what they're calling you now.
M4T, Mike for Truth?
Because what happened is, what happened is that Opia Canada has been bothering me, leaving me thousands of comments, asking me, telling me that you have a mortgage, and I'm like, well, big deal if he does.
I don't have a mortgage. You go to
but you did. I mean, even if you did, so what? You know, what are you doing wrong?
If you go to First Canadian Title and you go to First Canadian Title and you sign up and you put your email and you sign up, you could look up properties to see if there's any liens on the property.
I'm not gonna do that, man.
No, I'm saying you can if you want. You know, it's so easy to find out if there's a lien on a property. It's not impossible.
But she swears that you admitted in some video. So I was gonna make the live stream about that because she kept bothering me, and then we only talked about it for like a minute, and then what happened is West WCAM Studio showed up, and he usually doesn't watch my live stream that often, but ever since Black Bigot's been hanging out, he's constantly coming to the live streams. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I've noticed. Okay, I got Mysterious Blue Space Entity saying, yep, Opa Canada has been doing the same thing. I blocked him. Anyone is allowed to talk freely, just hateful speech and calling people disgusting names. Yeah.
Well, she hasn't made any rude, stuff like that on my channel, and then, I don't know, man. I don't know. Enough of that, but hold on, man, because my baby... Flood, can you get the
That's
baby?
his little son, Dominic. I think he's got like 6 kids total. So he left Anthony left California. The cost of living was too high. The standard of living was going downhill. So he moved to Conroe, Texas. He bought, 16 acres of land, and he put a house on it. And he has a well water. He's fully efficient. He's doing really well.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. It's just that my son is super attached to me. That's Rocky.
Yeah, that's Rocky. I thought it was Dominic. I'm sorry. So, question to you. So I was telling people while you were gone how you left California because it was turning into a cesspool.
Yeah.
and now you're in Texas. How much better is your life now? 3 years later, 4 years later.
Yeah, just by leaving the border. Now you're not even there yet. You're already middle class. That's all I gotta say, man. You're already middle class, man. Just by crossing the border, right there in Blythe, California, to the other side of Arizona, you're already middle class, man. That's all I gotta say.
So, do you want Californians in your state?
No, I'm not a Californian, by the way. So, in case you guys were kind of wondering about that, you know,
Okay.
I'm from Midwest, Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So
Well,
you're
anyways,
there.
going back to that what was going on. So I'm suspecting. I don't know. They got beef. Those big two YouTubers got like beef.
Yes.
With one another, and they really, really hate each other. So then I got a phone call today from West Coast to take down the video, which I'm going to when I get a chance. You know, I don't want any conflicts. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the video I just uploaded like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, you said you took it down.
No, the live stream I took it down.
Oh. Okay.
It was nothing but insults and going back and forth, and they were trying to get me into it. So
Yeah, that was probably one of the best videos I think I've ever seen you upload in my life.
Mike, let me ask you something, man. As a YouTuber, would you keep it up?
No, I already have a community strike on my thing because I was talking about a house.
No, but let's say, would you keep it up if it would happen on your channel?
Nope. Because I already have a community strike and they want to get rid of me.
But if you didn't have one, would you still keep it up?
For a while, until they ask me to take it down, or until somebody reports it.
Nah, man, I don't even risk it. I just took it down, man. Hopefully some troll out there made a copy of it.
Whoa! Look at this girl here. Married girl looking for single men over 25.
Is that a YouTube account?
No, it's just some spam coming up on my computer.
So yeah, man, it was crazy, man. It kind of ruined my day, man, to be honest with you. Black Bigot right now, he's trying to get on his feet. He doesn't need people trolling him or giving him a hard time, in my honest opinion. What are you watching?
BitConnect, buddy.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it because I'm talking to you.
No, well, the thing is, here's the deal. When you wake up in the morning, right? And you get up, you got to get up for work, you got to get up and, run your daily life and do your thing. You just play this in the background.
Hey, so what's your thought of me guest starring on other people's YouTube channels, Mike? I'm on...
There's like 2 people going, woo! Yeah, you know what? You should be getting on other channels. You should be getting your... The only way our channels will survive is like Uneducated Economist. He came on this channel. We talk...
That guy should call himself Educated Economist.
Well, it's kind of like the oxymoron, like he is, but we're all learning. Everybody's learning. So we're all learning in this world. You know that song by Los Tigres del Norte, La vida es una escuela?
Well, I'm thinking of starting a third YouTube channel. I'm gonna call it Bags of Shit. I'm thinking about it. What do you think of that, man?
It's gonna remind me of FU. I haven't seen FU in a while. Where's FU?
I don't know. You tell me, man. Because I heard a rumor it's you.
No, it's not me. How can I be live and then be commenting on my own videos on the side on another video when I'm logged into a live stream?
And then I heard it's G4T. Someone told me that.
Yeah, it could be G4T. It could be. There's a good chance it's G4T.
Nobody knows, man. I got too many trolls, man, on my channel. I've been blocking people left to right. You think I'm lying, right?
No, I don't think you're lying, dude. I don't think you're lying.
How many people do you think you have blocked? I have at least 100 now.
He motivates you to cryptocurrency. Blockchain is going to be a beneficiary.
Hold on, don't move. Don't move. What about this guy, Anthony? Your favorite guy, right here.
I can't see it because I'm talking to you.
Okay,
All
listen.
of this is going to be a beneficiary. The time to get right with yourself and invest in your own education is now. Plan ahead for the future in 2019. Get in shape.
Yeah.
Go to the gym. Feel great. Get motivated. More importantly, let me and our students, our community, motivate you to achieve your wildest expectations and dreams. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Any and all investments can go to zero, stay the same, or they can go to the freaking moon.
Woo! Go to the moon!
Well, I'm doing something different this year. I do want to lose weight. I kind of given up on that because I went down to 185, once 180, and then I just shot back up to 209 recently. But I got a different goal this year. I'm just gonna try to help more people more often.
Well, that's your duty as a Christian.
Yeah, but we don't. I'm not talking about helping friends because, biblically speaking, helping friends and family doesn't count. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I know.
Jesus talked about it.
No, I'm not talking about friends.
Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mountain that helping your friends or your family, I'm paraphrasing it. He goes, it makes you no better than the unbelievers. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, dog. I know what you're saying, Essay.
Roof.
Essay, listen to me, Essay. Yo, tell people watching, how good is my Spanish? Because a lot of people say, oh, I speak German, I speak Dutch, I speak this. How good is my Spanish, Anthony?
That's pretty good. I've heard a lot worse, believe me. But it's good.
Good. Yeah. So, okay, now back to what I wanted to say originally. So, is that guy staying at your house?
No, he's not in my house. He has his own RV.
Okay,
He's just parked in the trailer.
Okay, so he's parked outside your house.
Yeah, he's just plugged into my power supply.
Okay.
He has his own little kitchen, everything in his RV. The thing is that his van broke down, so his van is with my mechanic. He's not going to see it until Monday, and he's trying to get to RTR. He was supposed to leave on Monday to be there in Vegas, and now he's like really flipping out that he's not going to get there on time because he's supposed to be the private security over there.
Oh, that's gotta suck big time.
Mm-hmm.
Bad timing on everything.
He was selected by the head honcho.
Wow. So, okay, question. Housing. How's housing in Texas? Is it going up or down? Prices going up or down?
It's gone up, but it only goes up so much over here.
Okay.
You got to remember, out here we have no zoning laws, no restrictions. You really don't need a permit for anything. And, I mean, there's plenty of land. You know what I mean? It's not like when you live in liberal-run jurisdictions, they are implementing certain policies. I don't want to say it because I don't want you to get in trouble. You know what I mean? To restrict land. They want it to be more unaffordable for everyone so that you'll run to the cities or you'll run to the government. You go live in a condo. They don't want you to have property rights, in other words. Because if you live in a condo, I know that guy last time got mad at me for saying this, you don't have rights. You don't own anything. You just own the walls. Versus when you live in a free society, you know, you have property rights, right? I mean, I could go outside and start shooting my machine gun if I want to, and I don't have to worry about getting in trouble. When you have more freedom, unrestricted, that's when prices go down because, you know, supply and demand. But if you're restricted to construct everything under zoning, forget it, man. The price is going to shoot up. When I lived in Downey, California, I started noticing that. When Boeing left Downey, there was at least 40 acres open. That was like 40, 80. I don't remember how many. It was a lot of acres. Do you think the city of Downey decided to zone all that residential, make some houses, apartment buildings? No, they don't want that. Oh, they don't want that. They don't want rents going down. They don't want house prices going down. Oh, no, God forbid. They put some stupid park that nobody even goes there, and no one even needs it. There's one down the street. There was Apollo Park, and there was another park, I remember. I don't remember the name of it. They decided to build another mall, which Stonewood Mall. Look it up on your screen so your viewers can see it. Downey, California, Stonewood Mall. It was literally going out of business. Everything was shutting down in that mall. So why the heck would you build a mall a couple of blocks away from there? there's already something called the Downey Landing. So behind the Downey Landing, they decided to build another movie theater, which Downey already had a movie theater. Nobody in the right mind says, hey, let's go to Downey to go watch a movie. No, 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 no. So you get what I'm saying? It's just, I saw the writing on the wall. I go, dude, we just had 80 acres from Boeing that was sold off to the city of Downey. Why didn't they build more apartment buildings and houses?
Okay, I got Stonewood Mall here. Here it is. It's empty.
Then down the street, I remember they built Downey Landing. That was the first part that Boeing sold off. Did they build houses? No. Not a single house. Then more land opened up. They let Kaiser expand, and they built a stupid museum that's never opened, a park, and they built another movie theater and more. Actually, for a while, it was Downey Studios. My bad. Downey Studios. There was actually Hollywood.
I'm not giving financial
movie studios in the area. So what I'm trying to say is, when you have liberal jurisdictions, they will restrict the access of land. They don't want you to build houses. They don't want you to build apartment buildings. It's just a simple fact. You might say, well, they want land values to stay high. No, they want everything to be unaffordable. Now they're going after transportation in places like California. I don't know if it's happening in Vancouver, but they're going after transportation. They want everybody on the bus. They want everybody taking Uber. They want everybody using these stupid electric bikes scooters that I've seen around. No, they don't want you to own a car. And that's another subject that they're gonna find a way to take your car away eventually. Like example, like you, what are you paying, like $8 a gallon if it's converted into U.S. gallon?
Yeah, it's like $1.20 now. Went down to $1.20 a liter. That's 1, 2, 3, 20, 40, 60, 4, around $4 a gallon.
That's expensive. That's really expensive.
On a high, it's like $6 a gallon.
That's taxation without representation.
That's right. That's right.
Inflation is a form of taxation. Carbon taxes. You know, carbon taxes going to the billionaires, the movers and the shakers.
Well, all the global warming money went to Al Gore.
I mean, it's sad and pathetic, man. But look at what is it? Google is putting up all these driverless vans as taxis. They want to put the taxi drivers out of business. Their whole idea, they're here. I don't know in Canada, but here they're heavily lobbying the corrupt senators and congressmen so that they have immunity and they don't get sued if they kill someone. That's one. Two, they're trying to lobby to make gas more expensive, to make auto insurance so expensive that you're going to have to go buy a license through Google, Uber, Lyft, and any other company that's out there. I believe even Amazon wants to throw his gloves in the transportation business.
They are.
So that you have to go and take the driverless car. You have to call a driverless car to pick you up. And then you're going to have the electric car that nobody can afford. And only few people are going to have it. And in a shit hits the fan scenario, or you want to control the population, you don't want them to leave the city. What are these electric cars only have, like 100-mile radius? And then it takes like a whole day for them to charge? Can you imagine that? All you got to do is shut off the power. Nobody's going to go anywhere. So you're blocking the movement of travel, and then you're making it affordable so they can run a monopoly. Okay, I'm not trying to stress you out with this, but I mean, kind of have an idea what's going on. That's all liberal Illuminati propaganda, First was destroy the family. What is the other one? Well, that was destroy the family,
it's
take
family,
all property rights.
No. It's remove God, destroy the family, and make kids part of the take kids away from their families.
Destroy the family. The other one is take away all property rights, no property rights, and destroy all borders. There we go.
Yeah, that's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Make sure no one listens to you talk out there in Texas saying that, because you might be in a lot of trouble if you talk like that.
Well, I got a plan for my channel.
Yeah, tell me.
I just need like $50. My plan is to I'm gonna buy me a megaphone, and I want to stand here on the busy intersection doing a live stream, and just with the megaphone, just talk about this stuff really loud in the speakerphone. Because last time, about a year ago, I put on 9/11, I put a piece of paper on the back of my car. 9/11 is an inside job. Ooh, you should have seen the way people were looking at me on the freeway.
Oh, for sure.
They would purposely drive a little bit faster to come up to my driver's window just to look at me, and they would give me like a look like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, I'm just messaging our next guest here. I need him to show a bit of visual, get some lights.
Call your friend Rhoda, or working on it. Remember?
Yeah, she hasn't been on in a while. She's probably working in the oil mines, in the oil fields. So she's like 18 on and 5 off.
Wow, man, she's making money. I tried to call her, but she wouldn't answer the.
Yeah, she's busy. She's busy. So
I wish her the best.
Oh,
God,
for sure.
Man.
For sure, she's a hardworking girl.
Lately, I feel stuck myself, man.
So, what do you think is going to happen with the? Do you think Trump will lose the next vote if the stock market crashes?
They're trying to do that, but nobody's buying it. Everybody knows everything is going good. The media is trying to psychologically motivate people to think everything is bad. So people will not go out and buy anything. People are going to freak out. And you see how General Motors suddenly laid off everyone. And a lot of these companies are laying off people, but they don't even need to lay off people. They just got a huge tax cut. I don't believe it. I'm not buying it, man. Seriously, man. I've been talking to people and somebody's saying, I'm not buying it. Even if things get a little bit, even things go down a little bit, it's still way better than it was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How come nobody talked about this when Obama was president in 2012? I remember the fake news media started announcing. Even I even saw it on what is this called? USA Today, big headline. I remember I was walking down the street. This is when I still lived in Downey, and I was walking and I saw there was still some newspaper. You could pick up newspaper, newspaper boxes. Remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Where you put a quarter in them or 50 cents. And I know I was at 7-Eleven. The recession is over. I go, well, gee, golly, I know a ton of people that have just lost their jobs. How are you going to tell me the recession is over? I don't have a job. I've tried looking for a job. They're all low-paying jobs. No, I'm not buying it. They're just trying to make Obama look good for re-election. Oh, yeah, right. Who's the recession over for? It wasn't for me. It wasn't for my friends. Oh, don't give me that crap.
Hey, relax. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay?
Now it's the opposite. You see now how it's the opposite? Oh, recession is coming. Oh, recession is coming. Oh, really? How do you know? Do you have a crystal ball? Last time you told me the recession was over. Dude, it was not even over when Hillary lost the re-election. The economy lost the election. The economy was bad. Like 2 months later, like a month later, after Trump wasn't even in office yet or even sworn in, suddenly all the truck driving companies started giving sign-on bonuses. Yeah. Even the crappy job I used to work at, the job I hate before the one I just quit, they're giving a $1,200 bonus to go work there. They never did that before. Oh, don't give me that crap.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Expectations and dreams. I'm not giving financial advice. Yeah. I'm not a financial advisor. Any and all investments can go to zero, stay the same, or they can go to the freaking moon.
Like Chris Green says, go to the freaking moon, buddy. What do you think of the Chris Green channel, AMTV, now that he switched to become a Bitcoin salesman?
I just saw a picture of him in cahoots with a Google CEO, or is it just me? Did you see that?
I think that was a few weeks back when he went to California to have a glass of water with somebody.
Remember what I told you about maybe 2 years ago? Remember I told you on the phone, but you didn't believe me? Don't tell me you forgot what I told you. You told me all about AMTV, that they're good, and I don't know what. 2 years ago. Come on. I know you remember.
Yeah, no. AMTV was really good when he was getting into the Syria crisis, getting into the whole, he was doing
a former YouTube celebrity on here. 4T.
Oh, G4T.
G4T knows him personally. friends with him.
Yeah, he
Remember
said,
what
G
I
for
said?
T said that he doesn't believe what he posts.
He does not believe the videos he makes. It's all an act. He told me, trust me, because I saw him on Alex Jones when I had my own old YouTube channel, and I subscribed to him because Alex Jones was promoting him. And I asked George, I was walking with him over there in Riverside where we were shooting videos, and I asked him, man, what do you think of this guy from AM Team TV? He told me, be very careful. I know him. I've hanged out with him. I talked to him on the phone. Trust me. I don't care anymore. He's not on here anymore. I can care less. Who gets mad at me for saying it? He told me, he warned me. He does not believe anything he preaches on his channel. It's all a big act. And he told me, trust me. I know what I'm telling you. And he swore to me. And I knew he was telling the truth. I could see the sincerity in his eyes. And you know, a lot of people knew G4T. Mm-hmm. So he told me straight out, he does not believe anything. He's just acting. And look what happened. He just took a picture with the CEO of Google. That just tells you everything. Do you think they're gonna take a picture with Alex Jones or me or you or the guy from Jason A TV, the Jason A YouTube channel? Not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. You see taking a picture with Mark Dice or Paul Joseph Watson? Mm-hmm. Not gonna happen, right?
Nope. Paul Joseph Watson is doing pretty good. He keeps getting strikes. So does what's his name? What's his face there? The guy we talk about all the time too, that brings up the best videos about talking about the lady that's having. Oh, I gotta put that up. I'm gonna have. Hold on, let me get a beer. What's her name? That's running for president.
Pocahontas?
Yeah, what's her name? Her real name? Elizabeth Warren?
I just know her as Pocahontas. I got her name in my mind. I can't think of it right now. Elizabeth Warren, I think.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren beer. Yeah, here it is. Let me go get a beer. Hold on a second. Here I am. Let me get a beer. Hold on.
After launching the presidential explorer,
hold on. Oh, this is good. Hold on.
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna.
Hold on. This is good, guys. Wait up for this. If you haven't seen this, this is classic. Here it is.
Get me a beer.
She's gonna get a beer. She's got like 9 people following her on Instagram.
Robert, my husband Bruce is now in here.
And then her husband walks in. Watch her drink this beer.
I can't watch it because I'm talking to you, man.
Okay, so I guess she announced during the holidays when everybody was with family and nobody watches the news or even cares. I guess she's going to run for president. Isn't that the one that says she was part Cherokee or something?
1 like millionth and microscopic, something like that. What a joke. What am I then if she's an Indian?
Oh, dude, well, you're Aztec. You're Aztec. If you go back far enough, you go to Aztec blood. Azteca.
Dude, I'm probably caveman compared to her, man. Dude, I'm like totally caveman, dude. If I take a DNA test, it's probably gonna say like 10% caveman, 40% beaner, certain percent rice, and then who knows what's in there. They probably even say UFO.
Yeah. You hear that USA chant in the background?
USA.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good USA chant here in the background here when you're on the channel, because I know you are an American patriot. I can't find a good USA chant. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. Anyways, so... Here.
You know what? Why look for one? Let's do one ourselves right now.
Well, there's not enough chant going on here.
USA.
Hey.
I guess we're not
my
in the
husband
spirit.
Bruce is now in here.
Hold on.
I'm gonna get me a beer.
She's gonna get herself a beer. She's gonna rub shoulders with us, Anthony. She's gonna have a beer with us. She's gonna rub some shoulders with us.
She's Illuminati.
Look at that.
She wants to kill your unborn. She wants you to die of cancer. She wants you to wear a burqa.
Watch it. I don't want to get my channel flagged, man. I'm all for free speech, but I don't want to get shut down because you said the wrong combination of words. You know what I'm saying?
I just got a phone call from someone. We just had a Democrat in jail in my county, a couple blocks away from here, matter of fact, where I live. And they still let him pass legislation, sign bills, propose new laws while he was sitting in the jail with a suit on. They gave him a private cell. And he was in there for real estate, tax fraud, you name it. If it would have been you, would have been me, or any of my neighbors, or any of my viewers, you'd be in prison for at least 6 to 7 years.
It's called tyranny. It's called tyranny. You do it, you go to jail. The government does it. It's okay. We know this, Anthony.
He
Come on.
got a 1-year sentence to sit in the county jail, not the prison, and he only got 4 months. And on his way out, he's a Democrat. On his way out, he started yelling racism and modern-day lynching. You can imagine what race he was, what I just said. I'm telling you, I don't know. And listen to this. I don't remember the name of the guy. I have to look at my text messages right now, but I would have to, like, cut this off. I could get you the name of the guy. I got sources. This guy, listen to this guy. He had a pastor come with him while he was getting out of the jail, telling him that Jesus loves him. How can his pastor not tell him in his face? How can you belong to the evil party of the baby murderers? Get away from me. I never knew you.
Yeah.
Remember when?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
What kind of a church leader could sit there and not give the flock real advice? Many who are called, few who are chosen.
What did I tell you? Anthony, follow the money. Once you follow the money, you'll always get your answers. You want to know what happened with 9/11? Follow the money. You want to know what happened with Benghazi? Follow the money. You want to know what happened with the Federal Reserve? Follow the money. You want to know what's happening with the price of gold? Follow the money. You want to know why you work where you work or the position you're in? Follow the money. The money will tell you everything.
What if you quit your job? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. How can the pastor not sit there and tell him, how can you serve the Illuminati in the dark side?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's why I couldn't be a pastor of a church. You think people would sit in my church, Mike? No, seriously. I would tell it how it is.
No, people will sit in your church because you talk common sense. You're upbeat. You understand what's happening. You know the evil that's lurking.
I saw what my pastor went through, and they beat the crap out of him, not physically, so much that the guy retired, and he looks like he worked a intense physical labor job all his life, but he didn't. It's just the people really, really they tore him up, man. Believe me, man. The people are very evil, man. I tell people, but they don't believe me. People are evil. Really evil, man.
Okay, Anthony, buddy, I gotta have to let you go. Don't be mad.
One more. Hold on, Mike. One more, man. What happened to the Illuminati playing game? I never received it in the mail. My neighbor never got anything. He would have told me.
The what? Oh, no. It's right here. Hold on. It's right here.
Hey, Mike.
I can't ship it to you because your address doesn't exist through the post office. I can't make a shipping sticker for it.
You know what? I'm not working right now. How many days do you think it'll take me to drive up to your house? Is it snowing? I wonder if the snow's really bad, though.
No, what you gotta do, to come to my house is fine. You're gonna have to get across 10. How far are you from 10?
1 hour south from here.
Okay.
Oh, no, I know how to get there, Mike, but I'm just kind of wondering if there's so much, because I know my hometown of Denver has heavy snow.
You're not gonna go that way. You're not gonna go that way. You take 10 to 5, and you take 10 to Vancouver.
Oh, I'm not going to California, my friend. I'd rather just go this way.
Oh, you want to go up through San Francisco that way, right?
I'm not going nowhere to California, man. If I do, I mean, I would figure it out.
Okay, well, you know that California knows how to party, right?
Nah, not anymore, man.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta let you go, Anthony. I got, buddy from downtown Detroit who's going to be on the show from downtown Detroit. He's going to talk a little bit of markets and economy and what the heck is going on. And I want to pick his brain a little bit with China flexing its muscles. with Taiwan.
I kind of wonder if my phone will still have service in Canada.
It will work. It's fine. I'll jump on another bandwidth. How long you want to come for? A week or two?
Just 3 days, man. You know, after the third day, the dead stinks, you know?
3 days? What the hell are you going to do here for 3 days? Come for a week, 3 days.
Take some videos.
With
I'm
Mike
here
Martins.
With Mike Martin
Mm-hmm.
in the city of Merit.
Do you have a passport?
Live from Texas. Well, anyways.
¿Tú tienes un pasaporte?
Yeah, I already talked to the lady. She said can renew it because I already have an old expired one.
Okay. Okay, si tú puedes buscar tu pasaporte, no hay problema.
Mm-hmm. Or I could cross illegally.
No, what's the point? There's already so many crossing from Mexico to U.S.
I could just, like, take a back road.
Okay, Anthony, I gotta let you go, buddy. It's been 40 minutes. It's been a pleasure. Keep us updated on that guy that's parked on your property and let us know. Make some videos, okay?
Can you see that?
I see that. That's love. That's love. God bless you, buddy.
All right, God bless you guys. Comment, rate, subscribe to Walking Journey, and check out... Well, you're already watching Mike Martin, but subscribe to him. All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. We got to get Buddy down here from downtown Detroit. Hopefully he's not in jail. Let's see if his... Hopefully he didn't get arrested again. His name is Anthony, too. Ironically.
Miguel, how are you?
Yo, Anthony, how are you, my brother?
Doing good.
So, I like having you on after Anthony from The Walking Journey. You know why?
Because we're completely opposite in our opinions, probably.
Well, no, it's I don't have to change your names on the screen.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm economically focused. Also against the Illuminati, like your previous guy. But I also, what I disagree with him on is this huge difference he's bringing up about the Democrats and Republicans. I'm not seeing it. Ton of contradictions.
Well, your friend Jesse Ventura, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, said that it's the Democrats and the Republicans. It's the Crips, Demon Crips, right? The Demon Crips. He wrote a book called Demon Crips versus the Bloodcrats.
Yeah, and what we're seeing the results of that today with this BS theater in the White House, where we have two sides, and they come out and they engage in this theater where half of America thinks one is for them and the other half on the other, and we agree that we're going to shut down the government and not pay people. So what's the result here? Further deterioration of our institutions, and we all make up BS reasons for why we should deal with it. What do you think about the shutdown?
The shutdown, I think, is more of a bluff than anything. I think it's more of a call it. It's a call, is what it is. If you play, basically they want to see if someone's going to call the bluff, is what it is.
Yeah, and I see a lack of conviction on both sides. I don't think Schumer cares about the people not getting paid.
Yeah. The closure always it always happens. You know, this is like what, the 44th time it's happened?
Yeah, and it's something to blame because, like I said, and did Uneducated Economist touch on this about the tanking and the employment? I did send in the Skype link to you, the tanking employment in construction. Oh
yeah, that's 1,000,000%. Construction's obviously tanking because consumer confidence that is an all-time low since 1987, and we're breaking records the wrong way. Once consumer confidence dies, the middle class doesn't spend. The rich can't get richer. If anything, the rich start declining.
Right, and then so I would disagree with your previous caller about this boom in the U.S. economy and the tax cuts that help business. that allowed companies to buy back their shares and create a temporary boom. And I really think that was time for the insiders to sell out. While they keep selling to the American people that the economy is going to continue booming, but actually it's time to get prepared for the Armageddon.
Something's telling me, Anthony, they want to build that wall not because, and I've been saying this for a long time, they've been wanting to build that wall forever, not to keep the Mexicans out, but for keeping the Americans from escaping.
Well, I'm not sure about that one because there's a lot of stuff I would not want to be around in Mexico. I mean, especially the border states.
Oh, you don't want to be around Zone A. Zona A in Mexico is all the border states. That's all narcotraficantes. It's all a lot of problems there. If you go further south to other states, like if you go a lot further south to like Carmen de Playa, if you go to
Veracruz, but now I see the more of the media is now telling us about the drug war hitting the beaches. Where
or you go to Tampico.
They're gunning people down at Acapulco.
Acapulco, yeah. We gotta get a hold of our guy, our Australian friend that moved to Acapulco from Australia, from Sydney. We gotta get a hold of him because he moved there because he was fed up with Australia. So he decided to move to Acapulco. So he's been living there now for about a year, and we've had him on the show like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, but you had issues with the Mexican economy. He must be independently wealthy or something because that's a place where you said you cannot own property and you just deal with a whole circle of corruption around you.
Yeah. It's very tough in Mexico too if you're not Mexican. It's very tough, and it's a tough country to. They're very protective when it comes to their culture, and they're very protective when it comes to their language, and they're very protective when it comes to their territory. When I visit Mexico, I have to fill out a Mexican tourist visa to get in as a Canadian or a Portuguese.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of a very tight when it comes to, but then when it's America trying to tightening its borders or kind of fixing their problems or issues with migration or intermigration or immigration, they get shot down like they're racist every time.
Well, it's globally actually. Italians aren't allowed to talk about immigration either. Neither are French. We could go down the list of countries. Any place that's halfway decent is racist for talking about immigration, except for Israel. They're allowed to not only not accept immigrants, but actually kick native Christians off their indigenous land.
You know that before Syria became destabilized, it had 79 active practicing peaceful religions without any problems. It had the most diverse religions in the world. There was a lot of Christians living there, Muslims, Hindus. There was so many different religions that I didn't even know existed. And I watched a documentary, and they listed all the different religions. And some religions that have been pretty much gone for thousands of years, but are still being practiced by small populations of pockets in Syria. And they all had to leave, or they had to go to other bordering countries to flee the destabilization.
Oh, and we could talk about who's doing the destabilization. Yeah, I mean, we could take a long, hard look at ourselves because every time Americans get proud of themselves for voting, they get these little buttons that go on their shirt that say, I voted today. This is the democracy you voted for, and this is what you voted for to happen in Syria. So you can thank the Americans for what they did to Syria, for what we did to Syria.
You know what it is, Anthony? Take a step back, okay? Let's say they gave us a choice. Let's say we're going to tweet you something, you're going to say yes or no, and we're going to tally your votes. Should we destabilize Syria? I believe in my heart of hearts, Anthony, that 85% of the vote would say no by the American public.
Honestly, yeah, that's true, but thanks to the media on both sides, we're just voting on bathrooms, women's issues, things like that, some abortions. What else do we vote for? Oh, gay marriage. No.
I know, but they're spotlighting things that nobody really... Why don't they spotlight what's happening in Syria, what's happening with drones over Pakistan, what's happening in Yemen? No one's covering Yemen. Why isn't... I've had people get back to me saying, oh man, I'm watching this TV show called Prison Break. I didn't know that Yemen was in war this bad. I'm like, yeah, you have to watch it through a TV show to figure that out?
Well, yes, and we watched the Obama foreign policy of destroying Yemen, and then no one cared about that because Justin Timberlake was in the White House and he was singing some music and it was all a party.
Yeah, JT.
And Beyonce too. It was a fiesta.
Yeah, a big fiesta. It's scary. It's not only scary.
And he let gays get married, so it was all cool.
But you know what's mind blowing about it? You know what's so mind blowing about everything, Anthony, and what really keeps me up at night in a cold sweat is that nobody cares that other countries are being bombed. They couldn't care less. And that's what's scaring me. They got the Black Lives Matter agenda, and that's the big topic. And then they have the gays getting married. That's the big topic. They have this. They have that. You know what? During the Reagan administration, nobody cared about that. Nobody cared. People did what they wanted. No one cared if somebody got married to another guy. I don't care. I don't care, it doesn't matter who's working at the Dairy Queen or who's working in an office. I couldn't care less. If anyone could do the job, they qualified, they get the job, period. Now they're sectioning off, they're segregating our minds into gay marriage, into this, into that, into gender equality, and then this. No, I care about what's happening in China. I care about what's happening in the housing market. I care about what's happening in Europe and Brexit. That's what I care about. I couldn't care less about anything else. Could go to hell.
That's the thing. We're coming from like a background of being human beings and not being indoctrinated with ideologies that distract us and convince us that we care about certain things that we shouldn't. But that unfortunately society is choosing to go down this path. So it's a fight between Trump and Hillary. It just keeps going on forever. No one can understand that both were evil, and they won't understand it till the stock market goes to 4,000 points again, and we're looking worse than 2008. Whereas Trump tells people to buy every week like a crook. How else do you describe it? Him hyping the bubble that me and you have been calling for over a year now. That's the thing. And it's just amazing seeing these people support our corrupt government, the more vile filth it projects on us. And why does the shutdown have to be branded with the wall as the thing? Can't we just have proper border control, put troops there and this and that? But why does it have to be set up to where you're not paying federal employees to do it? Mm-hmm. I refuse to accept that this is accidents that Trump's doing. He's obviously installed to act like resistance to the New World Order, to act like a buffoon, to ruin it for us. What's he accomplishing in that office? Mm-hmm. He pretends to oppose the globalism that hired him because he's so bad at everything. The way he insults black female reporters in the White House, it seems like he had an issue with every woman that tried to say something to him. Not that he really is a sexist or a racist, but because that's a script he's given. They're giving a script to him that says act like a corrupt, act like a slob, act like an ineffective right-wing leader because he's a fake right-wing leader. That's why he's so bad at when he talks. Did you see him talk about the shutdown and how these employees need to get over not getting paid and how they can't pay their mortgage bills? You could talk so many days about people being stretched in the middle class to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. And these government workers, he's sitting there saying that the mortgage companies will start to understand that they can't pay their bills and their landlords will too. Yeah, this is all but I'm going to say, don't you think it's like he's reading from a script? They said, Mr. President, read this that makes it look like you're out of touch with reality and represent the rich man interests, and you can't relate to the middle class. Because how do you tell the middle class workers in the government that they don't need to get their paychecks?
Okay, you sent me a video. I got it right here. I'm going to upload it. I have it right here. All right, let me put you beside the video here so people can see you, that you're still in the picture. Let me play this here and see what this says here.
Yeah.
Time in 3 weeks from now. Your 401ks are going to go down tremendously. People are going to lose wealth. If they don't go out and vote, then they have themselves to blame because they'll lose wealth. Tremendous amount. I built up $11.7 trillion in wealth. You report on it. And if you look at China, by the way, they're down about $25 trillion in the last 5-6 months since I started going into what I have to do, which is straightening out the unfair balances of these ranges.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he said people's 401ks, that's the mutual funds and all that, their retirements. He said they're all going to tank. This is before the midterm elections. And I'm thinking the midterm elections kind of fulfilled what he was saying, where Democrats took the House, and then he's saying, look out below. But still, no one can see that. They just want to keep believing the bullish narrative. But I like Trump when he's bearish because it's starting to sound more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Yeah.
So you think the oil, and you think the Saudis are doing that deal, the back end deal with Russia, and China doing that back end deal with Iran to drive down the price of oil? Do you think that's in the cards for 2019?
Yes, because there's going to be a deflationary impact in many ways. So I continue to think that it would cause a recession in Texas too. And
I just
oil, go ahead.
Oh, no. I kind of wanna just get your opinion on this. This was from yesterday, and it's in the news today. And this was sent to me from a viewer in Singapore. China's Xi Jinping orders forces to be battle ready. Taiwan calls for support to defend democracy. So it looks like Taiwan is calling on, from what I've heard from inside sources that I know in Macau, was telling me that they're getting India, okay? They're getting Vietnam, Cambodia, because India and China have that border dispute, right? Indo-China border corridor there. So it looks like that Taiwan is calling on the United States, Canada, Great Britain, and Australia, Indonesia, and a couple of other countries in that region in the South China Sea, and the Philippines, calling on these countries for support, because a lot of these countries are tired of the China bullying in the South China Sea and stealing dirt and land, or dirt, from their countries to build these artificial islands. What do you think is going to happen? I know that Taiwan does not... I've been to Taiwan. I've been to Taipei. I've been to 101. I've been to China. I've seen both sides. Okay? I've been to Macau and I've been to Hong Kong. Now, my question is, what do you see happening in your opinion?
Well, I think we could have some unrest in China and really a global effort to collapse their banking system and things and hobble them.
Because though a good way to take China out is economically by deflating their currency, so they're going to have to buy energy and minerals at a higher price.
Yes, and then that would just wipe out emerging market wealth, so you'd see this tanking of all these economies. So I think that's what's in store, and also the Canadian economy too, by de facto, based on your fake bubble in Vancouver and Toronto that have been carrying your economy in the whole Trudeau era, and kind of during Harper too. And then you notice the Canada fighting with China now, arrests, things like that.
Yeah, at the borders and stuff. But do you think China they're flexing their muscles? They have this military parade. Taiwan's calling on support. The Great Britain sending a support ship, and the United States has already some military presence in that area. I mean, Vietnam has a grudge against China. Cambodia has a grudge against China. I mean, all these other countries, Philippines. What do you see happening, dude? Do you see something big happening here? Or is it just another one of those, here's my muscles, look at these guns? What do you see?
I think it's impossible for me to predict, and I just think economically it's ugly.
Okay, so you're seeing an economic tsunami coming out of this if something does happen.
Yeah, I mean, there was recently a State Department in the U.S. had an advisory for Americans going to China based on arbitrary arrests.
Oh.
So...
And what do you think of them dismantling the Christianity there in China? They're burning churches. It's all over. You could look it up on Google. People get mad at me when I bring that up, and they're like, they're not doing that. Yeah, they are doing that in China. And people leaking this information out are getting arrested.
Creepy. I think that they would burn a lot of churches in the United States if they weren't fake churches, like Joel Osteen types.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're more than welcome if you're Joel Osteen to start a church, because you pollute people's minds with transactional religion.
Yeah.
You know, that God wants you to have a new car.
Yeah. What about that religion that the world was going to end in 1893 and then it didn't end, and then it was going to end in 1920 and then it didn't end, and it was going to end in 1956, and then the world was going to end in 1978, and then the world was going to end in 2000? Jehovah's Witness, right?
Oh, I think that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where they believe that the world's coming to an end all the time. That's what their religion's based off, I think. And that's an interesting interesting kind of I guess, way to preach that it's coming to an end. Sell your car, give us your house, sign it over, you know?
Yeah, and did you see in Michigan we had a new representative saying impeach the MFer about the president?
Really? Tell us what's going on.
Oh, you can look her up if you want.
So she's going out that wants to impeach the president? Well, they've been trying to impeach him since the day he walked in.
Right. It's creating a divide between the Democrats because she said impeach the MF for, like, shouting profanity around. You can look her up if you want. Her name is Rashida, Rashida, and then the articles would just come up to this woman sounding off about her disgust with the office or something. But it's just a sign of the chaos in both parties, as far as internally as well as between each other. It's fascinating, the political breakdown in the U.S. And it's like an institutional crisis, I think, in general.
Yeah. Hold on. We gotta pause for a commercial break here. Hold on. Watch this. Are you watching this, Anthony?
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer.
Sure.
All right. Let me rewind it for you.
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer.
I'm listening. Oh,
she's getting a beer, okay?
Yeah.
Sit down.
This is the most bizarro thing I think I've ever seen.
She was in a good documentary 10 years ago. Because
I can't get over this. I just isn't she part Cherokee?
All right, so she also dodged a question.
I don't know what that was about, but I'm just saying. A decade ago, she was in a documentary, and you can find it if you want. It's quite interesting because it predicted the housing crisis in the U.S. And I don't necessarily agree with her solutions for things or her attitude to liking Hillary and all of this. It didn't make sense. But 10 years ago, it was interesting that there were commentators sounding alarm for household debt and things. And she went, like, they interviewed realtors in Vegas talking about how people will start to look like they'll start to make money if they look like they make money. It was like and it was all up in flames.
Okay, Anthony, I got one more thing I need to ask you, and this is kind of important, buddy, because I've been watching this and I've been reading the articles and the headlines, and it's not looking good. What the heck is happening in Italy, dude? Is it collapsing? I mean, in the next week or two? Because it's not looking good, dude. Can you give us a rundown on what's happening there?
Oh, man. Well, all I'm saying is it's turned very corrupt. It's kind of a global phenomenon for me. Sadistic elites. And then I wouldn't I wouldn't cling to any, I wouldn't be pulling on any politician suit at this point. Salvini look at his checkered past, his bizarre extremist ideologies, and it just seems like another political movement that the globalism will blame the collapse on. So that's installed right now, it seems. They're going to say, oh, look at the racists. They sunk the Italian economy. And the same thing's happening in Germany. Merkel resigned or whatever. So everything globalist is stepping back and leaving it to this ultra right-wing nationalists that actually want to have a decent country. And now I think what they're doing is finally, when their country's just a carcass, when they bled the economy dry with their deficits, when their social systems don't work anymore because they're so burdened with the refugee crisis, this is when they pass it off to the people and say, oh, look, they're collapsing the economy. But it was like a decade in the making. People don't understand economics. That's what I think.
Because I know Italy's been in a bit of turmoil. Not as bad as Greece, and I think Cyprus is the worst of them all. Cyprus got hit pretty hard, and then the domino fell over to Greece, where Greece was getting runoffs on their banking, and they had to limit €50 or €20 a day. And then now Italy's, that domino piece now is falling to Italy, and it's looking towards France, and it's looking towards France is in a lot of trouble right now, especially with the country up in flames. And the media is doing a great job covering this up, eh?
Oh, well, I mean, it's all twisted, you know. It's all propaganda. Macron is another one that actually exists, I think, to promote chaos. Like,
but did you see his resume?
Yeah.
He's a globalist. He worked for the banking cartel. He was one of the chief executives.
I'm sending you an image to put up. This one's my favorite, okay?
All right, where is it?
Yeah, and you got it?
I got it.
Oh, maybe not. I gotta scroll down. It's like not refreshing on me, but nope. I'm gonna.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna open it here.
Yeah. So, what was I saying? Macron exists only to promote protests by the way he speaks, because nobody can. He's actually trying to promote violence because he's saying, you know, we got this, and you all need to stop complaining, basically. So. He's trying to promote unrest in his country. It's fascinating. No one can be that uncareful at this point.
Oh, it's very dangerous what he's doing, and I really hope he backs off from what he's doing. Oh, you know what's weird, buddy? When you send me a link while you're live with me, it won't let me open it.
Really?
It won't let me open the link. I have it here. I'm clicking on it, and it won't let me open the link for some reason because I am live with you.
I put it in the top chat comments now.
Oh, I see it there. Perfect. That's the best part. All right. Let's see what you sent us. New French President Emmanuel Macron celebrates victory in front of pyramid with all-seeing eye.
Yeah, so this is going back to when he starts out.
Yeah, and you know what? To be very frank with you, I told you this. He's checked his resume. This guy is actually a big deal when it comes to globalist banking and the globalist cartel. He's one of the big wigs, and they put him in there because they knew he would play by the book. That's why France is falling faster than Niagara Falls.
Everyone plays by the book. Who's not playing by the book?
Isn't that a song?
I don't know.
It sounds like a song I heard, like a disco song or anything. But anyways, yes, they put him into power, and even Max Kaiser pointed that out in one of his shows, that yes, he's a great guy to put in there because he is one of them.
Oh, for sure. But so is Salvini because he plays the other role. He stirs up the chaos and
Hornet's Nest.
Oh yeah. It fills people's heads with delusions that we're going to take our country back. Well, okay, how? What do you do with the refugees? Seriously, put them in camps? I mean, what's the plan?
Yeah, that's the thing. The sad part is, Anthony, what's really scary is in human history, we're doing a lot of big power play chess moves that we've never done in human history before. And yeah, we've done it in other ways because we didn't have the media back in the day. We didn't have social media. What's happening now is the first time in human history that we could talk to each other like we can and discuss this, and we just immediately shut down what they're telling us because we know it's a lie. But it's the first time where we are seeing a destruction, and we're just allowing it to happen.
Right.
Back in the day, you lived on a farm. You were 300 miles from the capital. You were sending your taxes to the king. You had no idea what was happening with turmoil, interfamily feuds. No, you didn't have the privilege to know that stuff. Now we could talk within heartbeats, within a second of each other. We could be always talking face to face. But we're letting it happen now that we even know.
That's true, but you know what? The problem is the propaganda machine is now working to take over the communication, and you'll see channels like Mike Martin's get shut down. So we're actually not much better than the people on the farm who didn't know how their president how their president Cleveland was, for example. I mean, he could have been doing rituals and sacrifices. They would never know because they're just on the farm and they think he seems like a nice guy from the radio or the written word. But we're no better because the media can just have a headline and it lasts for a whole week, and the social media and just going to the border wall for things like that. We'll just talk about the wall for a month.
But what about Patreon, whatever the hell you want to call them? They're getting rid of all these channels, and now they're playing by the book, the globalist book. They're all following the same rule book. Now Patreon is kicking people off, and BitChute is being hacked by Antifa. What the heck is going on with social media? Ever since Hillary Clinton lost the election, social media has been on a downward spiral. It's been falling apart at the seams, and they know, the big guys up at the top of that pyramid know that the social media has the power to sway the vote, so they got to start changing it.
Yeah, but they have us where they want us. You can.
Are we in checkmate?
Media, well, the alternative media is completely retarded too. I mean, you're one of the exceptions. Honestly, you see some of the stances people take. Alex Jones was mentioned on here. People are calling him a puppet. He says weird things too. You can't defend so much of what he says. He used to be cool. I could go down the list. This Molyneux, you know who that is?
Stephen Molyneux, yeah, he's from Quebec, Canada.
Okay, I mean, we needed someone to tell us that Nelson Mandela was a killer, but he takes such strange stances. Molyneux too. It's like, it's embarrassing to people that are against political correctness, because we need to actually have well thought out stances, and he doesn't make good stances. So yeah, we're all over the place, unfortunately.
So what do you see happening in 2019? What do you see getting hard to hit the hardest? Do you see oil, housing? I see personal wealth getting wiped out. What do you think?
Right. As we said around Christmas time 2017 on here, watch for major crash, blame Trump, blame patriotism, blame nationalism.
Oh, you forgot one. Blame guns.
Oh, that too. We got to take them. And even Trump's for gun control too. He says, hey, buddy, you don't need that big of a gun, right? So it's something that's like kind of slipped on us. If he says it, it's okay.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from, Anthony. So what are you doing tonight? It's like what time is it there?
It's 1:49 a.m.
Wow. Are you going to go to bed soon or what?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I might tune into some other callers if you have anyone coming in. Is anyone
I might get Skinny Pete there from Sydney. Who else is there? I'm trying to get what's her name? Brooke. I need to get Brooke in from New Zealand, because there's a couple of developments there she's been talking about on her channel. I need to get Brooke in from New Zealand, because there's a lot of problems. You know that a lot of New Zealanders don't even own their own home anymore? I didn't even know that.
Right. Just based on the high price of.
Yeah. It's really bad. And the people that do own homes don't own them outright like they used to back in the 60s. Like 60% of the population own their homes outright. Now almost nobody. Everyone's got liens to consume.
The silver lining is that maybe when this crash comes, more will be able to buy.
Yeah. It could be. But you know what? When these crashes happen, what usually follows?
Job losses?
War.
Really?
Big war. Do you remember when Italy went into mass unemployment? What did Mussolini do? Invade Ethiopia. Why the hell are you invading Ethiopia for? We need to.
He sent my grandfather there.
Yep. Oh yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Because your grandfather was, or not, I don't know about his situation, but a lot of him and his friends were unemployed, and they needed an answer, right? You know, same thing with Japan. Japan was getting out of the feudal age, and they wanted to get into more advanced and modern warfare. They wanted to dominate the seas. And what did they do? They invaded Manchuria in 1931 or 1932. They invaded Manchuria. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of historians that know the war would say that World War II started with Japan invading Manchuria, and nobody, a lot of people don't know that, but Japan did it because they believed that it was their lineage. It was their belief that they needed to conquer China. It was their belief that they needed to do this, right? And they were brainwashed by the echelons up top, and they were financed by American and other banks from around the world to help finance their fleet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it just seems like the whole 2008 world is turned upside down. Remember, after 2008, there was a little crash, and then all these global governments got together with a solution, and they were gonna keep liquidity going and this and that, coordination between central banks. Now all you see is bickering between countries based on capital flows and goods and everything. So we're now starting the very complicated period that everyone's ignoring. I mean, the media will distract us with, like we said, identity politics, and yeah, we're asleep at the wheel, I guess. And then so I would be for 2019, I would be watching the economic consequences now of this global breakdown in institutional order. Mm-hmm. And then back to Brazil's new president last week.
Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting the optimism within the country for this new economic era, but I'm just wondering how would this be the only country in the world that's going to have a booming economy in 2019? I don't see it.
No.
Do they not have to export to China?
No. Brazil needs to sell to its middle class, because once it starts selling, once its middle class starts consuming, then you start creating a wealth in the country. And once the middle class starts to consume more made in Brazil, then they can start seeing more economic growth. Because remember, we talked about this before, Anthony. Yeah. Exports is what makes a country. Exports, not housing. Not the housing industry, not the student loans, not all this crap that they have our economies backed on. It's exports. It's what makes good, lucrative trade for a country that helps grow a proper GDP.
Yeah, and the problem facing Brazil, as with the United States, is the inheritance received by the current government too.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right. Bloated social welfare state and lack of development and lack of competitiveness, and then increased speculation too.
Yeah.
And then that's the big thing we're seeing play out in the province of Ontario, especially too. The whole Make Ontario Great Again thing was kind of a joke. Are you talking to anyone in Canada, in Ontario, there about job markets for?
We talked to Steve the plumber. He's been on the show quite a few times, and we talked to Mario DeCettis in Barrie, Ontario, and he's been breaking it down there with the stealing of pensions and Bombardier getting a lifeline from the government, and the closure of the GM, the GM plant there in Oshawa. We got a pulse in Toronto big time. We got a good following and viewership in Toronto. Yes.
Okay, so the GM plant wasn't an isolated case. It's kind of like an overall malaise in the manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. It was something that they've been talking about for the last 2 years anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting watching it play out. We're seeing Canadian stocks also leading the world down, it seems.
Mm-hmm. And lots of problems, lots of internal problems we have here in Canada. And until we could fix this, I don't know what's going to happen. I just lost all faith and hope in the political system. We need to find a way, or we need to come together as human beings and start seeing each other as human beings, and treating each other equally, and building it from there, and create a proper dialogue and communication so that we could grow together, and we're just a stain on this earth. We're going to be gone. Anthony, in 50 years, both of us are gone. You know that, right? Maybe 40 years. So
50, I'm doing the math. I hope to live longer than my parents and aunts and uncles. I don't know.
Yeah.
Insane.
But we're just a stain here, and we need to, once we could accept that and say, like, we're not, because a lot of people think, especially this Generation X, these millennials, they think they can live forever, and that's not the case. They think they're inferior to everything, and they don't understand, and they're creating divide and making enemies at a young age, burning bridges and telling your boss off and this and that. you know what? Back in the 70s and early 80s, maybe into the early 90s, you never did none of this crap. Now it's all being accepted everywhere, you know? Standing up for yourself. And then what? You can't find a job. What do? Blame the government.
Yeah, and then I'm looking on the comments here. Canada, the drama teacher prime minister, is in big trouble. I don't think so. I think he lives very wealthy, and he always will. I don't think he'll ever have to work a real job.
Well, he's going to become a drama teacher.
God, really? I mean, I see him just living so wealthy, you know, dressing up. He could go to India every week if he wanted to, dressed like in a sari or something.
Some wedding. That was a wedding outfit, actually.
Oh, okay. Who got married?
No, he dressed in traditional Indian robe, but it was actually it was designed what you would wear for a wedding. It's like me going to a business meeting, like a corporate business meeting, but I wear a tuxedo. But everyone's wearing suits. He wore like the highest end type of Indian garment that like the guy, like the father that was giving away the bride would wear, that would single him out from the rest of the guests.
Who gave it to him? Who's advising him?
I don't know. Somebody in Canada. I don't know. He bought it in Canada because he was already dressed there. So. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, that's just the thing. I mean, it says he's in trouble. I just don't see it. I think the Canadian people are in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Big time. Because we're not living in the 1800s where people take to the pitchforks, right, and tar and feather, right? Where politicians used to be tarred and feathered, right? Those days are gone. Now it's all feelings, and it's all I'm sorry, and no one takes the fall, and it's everyone else's fault.
Right. I mean, even like with Trudeau, this lady was really giving him a lowdown on how the taxes have ruined the economy, and she works as a nurse 50 hours a week, but can't afford her hydro bill. And she like cried in front. Do you remember that?
I remember that. That was exactly 2 years ago, around this time, and she was crying. She was crying because she can't she can't pay her heat. It wasn't her gas bill. It was her gas bill, wasn't it? Or was it hydro? It was one of the two.
It was a combination of everything plus the hydro, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was hydro. I think it was gas, natural gas to heat her house, and she couldn't turn the heat on in the house because it was too expensive. I turned the heat off in my store and put a bunch of electric heaters. My gas was costing me like $700 a month.
I'm surprised that electric would be cheaper than gas, because
I'm paying $700 for gas every month, so I turned off the gas.
Yeah, but the point is, she, in her speech, also was just so friendly about it, saying, "Prime Minister, I know you care about us," and she hugged him at the end. It's like, lady, I mean, you got to be tougher on the guy.
Yeah, of course. Remember that war vet that was tough on him?
Missed that one.
Yeah, the guy was missing a leg, and he's not getting any support, and this as a war vet, and he stepped over a landmine, and he was just chewing him out.
Okay, I guess if you want to take the next caller, we'll leave it there, and I'll be checking markets still. I'm watching January is an interesting month in this shutdown with the markets, and we'll see how much they can blame on the commander-in-chief. And then south of the border, we still have a month before Brazil takes sessions with Congress.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see what happens with that. Anthony, thank you so much for calling in at such a late hour from downtown Detroit. I really appreciate you being part of the show and contributing to the discussion, so we could get some dialogue going here.
Thanks for having me on. It's always an interesting show.
Arrivederci.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. Adios. Goodbye. So, guys, that was Anthony, and I could tell he was pretty tired. It's kind of almost 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning in downtown Detroit. Uneducated Economist was on the show. There's the Mike Martin's channel, the fake account that's going around pretending to be me. The Mike Martin's channel, yes, call someone else, please. So, Yeah, too much. Belinda Mercer's here from Florida. Too much economy debt. Game over. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot. It's gonna be the great blame game. Everyone's gonna be blaming everybody when the poop starts to really hit the fan, and it's gonna be the great blame game. It's very interesting to see where things are gonna be headed. Who else do we have here that's on Skype? Guys, if you want to add me to Skype to be part of the show, I would severely appreciate it. My name is Mike. My Skype handle is Mike Martins, MikeMartins, 1980. If you can add me on Skype, let me know what's going on. We need to get Kevin Thompson to call in. It is very important that Kevin Thompson takes the time to call us and find out what's going on. I want to call Rex Cohan, but apparently he got arrested in Atlanta, so we won't be getting to him right now. Oh, God, there's so many here. All right, who's on right now? Okay, who's on? So we need to, I wonder where Evan is. I haven't heard from Evan in a while. I hope Evan's okay. I know he's in Japan, but, I know he's in Japan, but,
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
I like this. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
What's up, Economist? Hey, everybody. My name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited. I am so happy. I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this.
Oh, that's a beautiful piece of work right there. I'm just really excited that he was there to do this. And this guy will forever live in history. This guy will forever be a part of, it's not cryptocurrency, but, sorry, I'm just trying to drag a name over here that got lost. Oh, God. Don't you hate technology sometimes? Okay, that's the name there. Where's the city? Oh, Christ, help me. I hate technology sometimes. What's up? BitConnect! Alright. I'm trying to get the name, the city out. Okay, so we lost the city. Don't do this to me. We got two. Good. We got two Anthonys on there. That's cool.